Agnus Dei, qui bonis, misericor, qui bonis, dona nobis Agnus Dei, Agnus Dei, qui bonis, misericor, qui bonis, dona nobis pace. Agnus Dei,
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
A few moments later.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Sports Church. I'm your host, Friar Murray, aka John Curran. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. 2311 was my MOS. I'm a member of the E4 Mafia, allegedly, and one of the founding members of Barracks Party Media. We got a lot to unpack in a short time to do it. We've got a full crew today, which is awesome-ish, because it's going to be hard to manage everybody's time, but we'll figure it out. We're going to talk some baseball for sure. We're going to talk some fighting. We're going to talk some boxing. We're going to talk some auto racing, some maybe off-season NHL. I'm not sure. And I'm willing to bet that at least some Paris Olympics opening ceremony talk might come up. Just guessing. But without further ado, first up, he is a United States Marine Corps veteran. His MOS was communications. He's from the great state of Wisconsin, where I hail from. And if you have earbuds on or headphones or whatnot, make sure you pull them back for just a few seconds, as he has a very unique call when he joins the show. He's been on the bar forever. He's been in the sports church forever. So he's welcome to the altar of competition known as Sports Church, Mr. Pterodactyl. Oops, there you go. Yeah. What's up, man?
Oh, not much. Yeah, here this week. Next week I'll be up in Michigan, so I don't know if I'll be able to join next week. And I think then I'll be back the week after that, and then we head to the Philippines for 3 weeks. So
yeah,
I'm not going to be around as much in this upcoming episodes, but I'll get back into the grind once we get back.
Right on. Anything you want to hit up before we get into it?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to get into the Olympic stuff. Usually I like watching the Olympics, but yeah, I'm not watching it this year. So
yeah,
yay, fun times. A lot of people are not watching it after that shit show.
Yeah,
so, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad, man. Fucking French, man. You know, leave it up to them, man, to piss everybody off. All right, next up, I serve with this gentleman in the all-inclusive resort known as 43 Air Las Pulgas at Camp Pendleton, California. Guest of the most holistic company in Marine Corps history, ammo company, part of First Supply Battalion, First Force Support Group, First Mart Div. I've been friends with him for, Jesus, too long, way too long. But I love him to death. He's my boy. He is our he's not our auto, but our gambling expert and our MMA contributor. Without further ado, please welcome to the altar of competition, Mr. Brother Bishop Poot Dog.
Oh, it's the Brother Bishop Poot Dog from the First Sports Church. Nothing but the truth, baby boy. No, I don't got my bishop hat on today.
No,
I'm a little casual today, but that's okay. We got UFC to unpack later.
Yeah.
Got 304, UFC 304 from Great Britain. Things didn't go the way that Dana White, Great Britain, and the UFC wanted them to go in the last fight, though. We'll get into all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Paddy Pimblett, Paddy the Baddie, my man. Did you see the fight?
I watched some of them, but I didn't see that one.
Impressive.
I was trying to help Pops get it cast from his phone to the TV, and I was outside burning brush all night long.
Moses.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
like Moses.
I had a giant pile of shit that we have cut out from the property, and we've got a whole bunch more to go. And I was burning that all night, and some tequila. But didn't see all of them. Saw a couple good ones though, for sure. Without further ado, he's our auto racing expert. He's been in the business for over 50 years, so I know of no other person to speak such highly on the subject. We call him Pops because he's my Pops. Without further ado, Pops.
Good afternoon or evening, wherever you are. It's been a really slow weekend for auto racing, with the exception of the Dutch Grand Prix. The funny part is that with the Olympics going on, they're all being broadcast by NBC. Guess who has contracts with NBC? IndyCar, NASCAR. So they've just bounced. They shut down for 2 weeks while the Olympics is going on. And I hope NBC doesn't lose too much money on the Olympics. From what I hear, there's not a lot of people watching them just because the Olympic Committee decided to go, oh, God, let's celebrate Gay Day.
Yeah.
That's what the Olympics is all about, the Gay Day. At least that's what the intro to it, that's what it was.
Emotional, damn it.
A lot of people just are not going to watch. So when NBC takes a bath, they know why. And I bet you they'll change their attitude as far as bidding for the Olympic Games when you can't get the revenue you need to pay the bills you're going to pay for the Olympics.
Maybe.
So it'll be interesting.
We'll see. All right. I'm getting an echo. Who am I getting it from?
I don't know. I'll try and mute myself, see if it's me.
I don't think it's you. I think it's Pops.
What? Wait a minute. Let's see.
All right. Everybody can
Yeah.
come back on. Yeah, I don't know where it came from, but Pook, maybe? I don't know. Let's see.
Oh, Pook's still muted.
Yeah. Well, moot the Pook. You know, moot the Pook. All right, Pook. Are you ready? Let's go, baby boy.
You know, here I am listening to another commentator with my thing on mute, and you're accusing me of being the echo. The only reason I'm listening to this is because I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce Muhammad Makaev.
Makaev.
Anyway, how you say his name, T?
Makaev? Something like
Makaev.
that.
Right.
We'll get there.
He's a hell of a fighter. He's undefeated. He's a Dagestani. He's 23 years old. He's a top prospect. Possibly could be a champion one day. He got cut. He got dropped from the UFC. The reason that's odd is because he's a Dagestani undefeated fighter. How much trouble did this guy have to cause? What did he do?
Yeah.
Boy, he's
What
got
was
a name
going
you can't
on?
pronounce.
Is it
That's
just
what it is.
Huh? What is it, Pops?
He's got a name you can't pronounce, and you can't be a favorite of
That
fans if
doesn't
you
get
can't
you
pronounce
knocked
the
off
name.
the UFC roster, my man. If that
I
got
seen
you knocked
it.
off, this would be an easy job for me.
I think I
Yeah, I
really
seen
think
that-
they ought to tattoo a number on each fighter, and then you talk about number 1, 2, 5, 6, whatever.
Well, I mean, not everyone struggles as much with these names as I do, but I'm sure they get a lot more practice saying them. You know, undefeated Dagestani fighter, 23 years old, gets cut. What's really going on here? Is it because of terrorism, maybe? Is it because the
I
guy's
have no
a
idea.
problem? The guy's a problem child of some kind? What's this guy up to? There's
What does
not a lot of
UFC say
information
about it?
on it.
What does
What's
UFC
that?
said why they cut him?
They didn't say much. I didn't find much I'd be talking about. I really didn't find much. I could only
Yeah.
speculate.
Yeah,
I
I
can
seen it
only
on X. I seen it on X today. Like, and asked a question. He's already cut. And I'm like, I can't answer that question because I don't know what the situation is.
Yeah, I don't. But it's
I didn't
something.
respond to it at all. Yeah.
It's something to talk. It's something to talk about. Something to ponder. What did this guy really do? I mean, I think about some guys that got cut in the past that were top prospects. I remember that guy from the Tough Show, from the reality show that went and started busting up a Vegas hotel, and things like that. I don't know. I don't know. There's really nothing on the internet that I found. Maybe someone in the chat, maybe Mr. Benoit, the Combat Santa, could let us know if he knows what's going on. Maybe someone else with some inside scuttlebutt could hit us up. That would be great. But we had a full card last night. Very exciting card. Minnie, did you get my slides?
Yeah,
Minnie,
I
did you
did.
get my slides? Minnie, did you get my slides? We could the first slide I got, the last slide I sent you, the first slide going from the bottom is going to be actually Muhammad Makaev.
Yeah.
Makaev.
All right,
name.
moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, all I'm seeing is that Dana White's saying that the PFL is going to get a great undefeated.
Yeah, that's
player.
the quote. I have that quote right there. That's the quote I have. So we don't want them. If it don't smell, I don't want it.
I guess.
Yeah.
So-
So
What's
Go
the
ahead.
relationship between UFC and PFL?
they don't have one.
Okay.
It's very it's a rivalry.
Okay.
It's a rivalry.
Yeah, PFL is basically what used to be Bellator now.
They don't want to. UFC does not want to have a relationship with them. I'm sure the PFL would love to do cross promotions.
Yeah.
Dana White did some cross promotions very early on in the UFC, and he felt he was burned by them, and he doesn't want to do any more cross promotions. He did a cross promotion with Pride. He doesn't like it. He don't want it. To him, it doesn't. To the UFC, it's not advantageous because if he sends his fighters over there to get beat by this upstart, and they can get beat because these are fights. These are MMA fights, right? Two men enter, one man gets defeated, right? So if he sends a bunch of his hitters over there and they get defeated, it ain't going to look good on them. It's only going to help out the PFL. I don't blame them. I mean, that's like the number one reason not to do it if you're the UFC, because the UFC doesn't need the rub. The PFL does, you know. But I'm sure that the PFL does have Ngannou. They got him signed, and that's the fight that that's the leverage the PFL would use to do a cross promotion for sure. But as far as I know, that's not going to happen. As of right now, that's not going to happen. Now, people change their minds, and money can change your mind. You know, money changes a lot of people's
My
mind.
wife.
Yeah, exactly. So, moving on, the next slide we got is
just one thing that you added there about you were talking about how Dana White doesn't like to do cross promotion stuff. I don't know if you've seen Trump's speech last night. He said he went to Dana White and said so many of these migrants are so violent that Dana White should start his own migrant fighting league, and then have the winners of that take on the UFC fighters.
Oh my God! Moving on.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, because every immigrant class has been known for two things: one, hardworking, they're criminals. So move the fuck on.
So anyway, the slide that you pulled up wasn't actually the next slide I wanted you to pull up, but that's okay. We'll just run with it anyway. The next slide you want to pull up, what is going to be the next slide up from the last one. But anyway, this is the main event. You pulled up the main event, which is fine. We'll talk about the main event first. We'll have our dessert first here. We can do that.
There you go.
We can do what we want. It's your show, Minnie. It's your show. You want to talk about the main event
Hey,
first?
Poop,
We'll talk about the main event first.
This
Yes.
guy's getting a headache. Get to it.
Yes, exactly. The guy getting the headache was the former champion, Leon Edwards, and was supposed to win this fight. He was a 3-1 favorite, and he is an English champion, and they were fighting in Manchester, England. Now, the interesting thing about this head slam is this is a freaking rule that they enforce whenever the F they want.
Yeah.
Whenever they want, they enforce this rule. I seen, you know, if they could have Dairy Queen the guy right there, according to their own rules, according to their unified rules, they could have Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Unless they got different rules over there in England that I don't know about. You're not allowed to spike an opponent onto his head unless you're in a submission. That's in the rules. That was part of what freaking John McCarthy wrote when they wrote the rules to bring these events to boxing. At the time, they were boxing athletic boards when they were trying to get these fights mainstream, when they were trying to get the sport up and going in its infancy. That was one of the rules, and it's still in effect. From what I mean, unless I missed something. I mean, I could have. I know the 12-6 elbow is allowed now, but I didn't see anything about spiking an opponent on their head.
Yeah, I don't know of any league that doesn't have a no spiking on the head rule. I'm pretty sure every league has that, and this one looks a lot worse. Remember a few months ago, we were talking about the one fights when Josh Barnett lost his belt to Joshua Pacquiao, and we played the video of it. This spike looks a lot worse than the one that Barnett lost his belt on, which Barnett's actually fighting next week too for the interim belt because Pacquiao still isn't back from injury from that head spike. You and your one. Got to throw it in there.
All right, right on, brother, right on. But exactly. The modern day of MMA, everyone outlaws the spiking of the head, but they seem to because we've seen it before. We've seen Rose Nakamura freaking slammed on her head. Let me try to say that again. We've seen Thug Rose get slammed on her head. We've seen others get slammed on their head. You know, it's the rule seems to get enforced whenever the hell they want to enforce it. Here they didn't enforce it, and it looked like Leon Edwards went out for a second. I mean, he definitely probably took its toll in this fight for sure. He got ragdolled most of this fight. He got out wrestled, and that's why he lost. And Bilal Muhammad is now the welterweight champion. So, anyone that got any thoughts, comments on this fight? We can move on to the next slide.
And-
This is just like a bubble gum.
Yes.
I just turn the knob, and whatever bubble gum.
I wish
color
I knew
comes
what
out,
the next
comes out.
slide was
just
because I don't have one.
You don't have one.
You know,
No,
You don't
I
one of
have
Tom
two.
Brady? You should have a
You
picture
sent
of
me
Tom
two.
Aspinall.
You sent me
I
two.
didn't send you a
you
picture
could
of Tom
you could
Aspinall.
identify the slide by number, and that way you can say, and I need slide number 2. and
Yeah,
John will
well,
put up number
another
2.
time, but I only have two, man. I have the PFL one. I have the main event one. That's the only two you sent me, but via text. So
I
Did
didn't
you
send
meet-
you one. I didn't send you one. Okay, here's the problem. The Pook screwed up, and the Pook screwed up because he's got slides in the chats. He's got slides in Minnie's direct messages. He's got slides in the chats and in the direct messages. So go to your direct message
okay,
and go ahead and pull up Patty Pimlet
yeah. There's nothing.
and
there.
Bobby Green, Bobby King Green, just so we can know who we're talking about. That's the only reason I really got the slides, because when the reason I like the slides is because it's probably the same reason Pops likes the slides. You're putting it up there, I can try to paint a vivid picture.
Got nothing, Pook. Nothing in Sportsers. Nothing in Sportsers highlights. Nothing in my.
But
DM,
in Mini Me,
nothing.
Mini Me,
Got
didn't go
nothing,
through?
bro.
it
Nothing.
didn't go through.
Move on.
Oh my God, Minnie. Okay, so the people,
There's
the
fucking
people at home,
nothing,
here.
dude. You didn't send
all right,
it.
it's okay. Okay, so the people at home, can you see Patty Plymouth and Bobby Green there, so we know who we're talking about?
All right.
This was a message that I sent to Minnie. You can see I sent it to Minnie. See, Minnie me, and I sent it to Minnie. So Minnie's obviously lying, or the phone company's not working. So all right, so we got Patty Plymouth. We got Patty Plymouth fighting Bobby Green, and this was a real test, man. I think this is the first real fighter, and I don't mean that because he's fought some competition. We should say he's the first real competition for Patty Plymouth where I thought he could possibly get beat. It was Vegas had them at a -110, opened up at -110. I think Patty ended up being a slim favorite by the time the fight went off. But Patty was not supposed to dominate this fight the way he did. He got Bobby Green in a wicked submission, could have broke his arm, and showed mercy on him. Bobby Green laying there a broken man after this fight, and I got a real. I like Bobby Green a lot. Been on the Joe Rogan program. He's from San Bernardino. He always goes in there. He always bangs. He always fights. He's a hell of a fighter. Hell of a champ, not a champion. He never had it. He never wore the gold, but a hell of a contender. Hell of a contender. So this is very impressive to me. I feel like the Patty Plymouth can compete with the upper echelon of the UFC, and I don't know how you guys feel. How you feel about that, T? Did you see the fight? What do you feel about Patty Plymouth?
That's a big win. If you can submit a guy like Bobby Green, then you deserve to start having your competition upped on you. So,
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
let's step this competition up, right?
Yeah, you should start getting ranked fighters. Yeah, get them some ranked fighters.
Came in getting ranked fighters like they do to everybody else, but they've made some mistakes doing that. I can think of some guys right off the top of my head, like the other Brit, the other British guy that ended up fighting. I don't even know if he's in MMA anymore. I think he's doing some boxing right now. His name escapes me. You know who I'm talking about, though. They throw you to the wolves if you're like, because this guy Patty Plymouth I'm talking about, and other organizations over in Europe, he was just running through his competition, and it seems like it
was a big deal when they signed him.
Yeah, it's a big deal when they signed him, and they've been giving them tomato cans pretty much, right? Or maybe not tomato cans, but guys that pretty much weren't on his level. This is the first guy that I felt was on his level. Vegas felt he was on his level, and he completely dominated Bobby Green. It's a very impressive win. And how much different does this guy look on fight day than he does when he's not training? It's like two different guys, man.
He looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy or something.
He's got the hair. He's got the hair flying all over the place, right? And then he's got the big stomach. He looks like Chris from. He looks like the Family Guy's son. right? He looks like the family, the son from the
I don't know if
family
he's
guy,
that.
yeah.
It's not that.
Oh, he
big,
does,
but
when he's
yeah.
not training, he does, man. Oh my God, he sure does. And then when he's training, he walks in, he's got 6-pack abs, he's got his hair all braided up all tight. He looks like a different guy. It's almost comical relief. But so, all right. So the next thing we have to talk about is Tom Aspinall made real quick work of Curtis Blades. Tom Aspinall made real quick work of Curtis Blades. And that was surprising to me, honestly. As we know, he
that was
lost.
surprising to a lot of people.
That was surprising to me. I know that Curtis Blades was 4-1 underdog, and I know that a lot of people had Tom Aspinall winning that fight. I don't think too many people thought that he was going to clean him up like that. I mean,
Yeah.
The
a lot of
4-1
people online right now are calling for him to fight John Jones next, but we'll see if that.
Well,
happens.
they've been screaming. Man, there's been a lot of people screaming about that forever because they're saying that Stipe's washed. They're saying Stipe's washed and that's the only fight to make. But man, John Jones, when is here again? Is John Jones really an active fighter? I mean, the guy hasn't fought in like how many years? It's going on 4 years.
It's been forever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like talking about Conor McGregor fighting again.
Yeah, it's a joke, man. And I mean, we waste so much time on this show talking about Conor McGregor. It makes me sick to my stomach. But the guy has all eyes on him. The guy has, if Conor could ever get his shit together again, and I mean, it's hard for a billionaire to get their shit together. Like, to be hungry like someone that's not a billionaire,
Sleeping in silk sheets, man.
Right.
Joe Louis.
So that pretty much
silk sheets, it affects you. It has to.
Yeah. Man, the guy belongs in the pen though, man. The guy's a serious criminal. I mean, Connor's a serious criminal. He's hooked up to the McCanahan gang or whatever, the freaking international freaking cartel, the freaking mafiosos, the Irish mafiosos. He's a bad dude, man. He does bad stuff all the time. He never gets in trouble for it. Always lands on his feet. That's one guy that probably belongs in prison for sure. He's bad news, man. Guy belongs in the pen. But that's neither here nor there. Last night's coverage, that pretty much sums everything up. 304. Moving on, like many likes to say, well, what's happening next in the UFC? Well, we got a fight night. August 3rd. It's going to be Sandhagen versus I'll pull it up. Nurmagomedov. Umar Nurmagomedov is going to be fighting Corey Sandhagen in the main event. They got any other Marlon Vera is going to be fighting in that fight. Figueiredo, 2 former champions are going to be in that. Marlon Vera and Davison Figueiredo is going to be. Tony Ferguson is going to be fighting Michael Chiesa. Tony Ferguson should just stop fighting. Mackenzie Dern is going to be on that card. So we got a lot of names that we recognize going to be fighting on that day as well. Our next pay-per-view event coming up. That's actually going to be that's not a fight night. That's why we know some of these guys. That's actually going to be on ABC. It's going to be UFC on ABC number 7. The next fight night we got coming up is actually August 10th. It's going to be Tybura versus Spivak. And then the next pay-per-view coming up is going to be Duplessis versus Adesanya. Thoughts on the Duplessis versus Adesanya? Any thoughts?
I'm excited. I mean, it's been a minute since we've seen him. Israel's a beast, so I mean, I don't know. Where's the money line on that?
I think I'm kind of leaning towards.
I'm gonna pull that up. I'm gonna pull that up for you. But first, the Pook's gonna guess. The Pook's gonna guess first. The Pook's gonna guess that this is very close to even money. They're
really
gonna put. Yeah, I know it is for sure.
Yeah, Duplessis ain't a joke.
For sure. Very close to even money.
There's Israel, right? I mean, he's a fucking beast.
Oh yeah, and yeah, he sells the tickets. So yeah, it's a fight they want for sure. But yeah, it's going to be a good fight. And I wouldn't sleep on Duplessis.
All right. I'm just very interested to see where the money's lying. Pook says it's pretty even.
I don't
yeah.
know. That's the Pook's guess. The Pook's
Mhm.
looking it up right now.
Yeah, you know where to look that stuff up better than me. I don't gamble a whole lot. I follow the stuff, but I don't really gamble so much.
Hey,
So
Poop.
I
I'm not
wouldn't
doing
even
a very
really
good
know where to
job of
look
it.
for the lines.
Don't give him two different
How you
jobs.
how you spell Adesanya real quick?
Oh, Jesus, Pook.
Adesanya, I think.
Yeah,
I
we'll
could
go
be
with
way
that.
off. I'm trying to do that off of
I
memory.
don't know. I'm not getting the line right now. We can get back to that. We can move on to something else. We can move on to somebody else's segment. That pretty much wraps up my UFC segment. I will find these odds though, and I will let you know. Probably interrupting your baseball segment, and I'll probably have
That's
some kind of smart remark about the Yankees along with it.
Weird. There, no, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. There we go. Benoit has it right there.
Yeah, there's going to be a.
Adesanya.
Okay. Say it again. I'm auditory. Go ahead. Repeat it.
Adesanya. Israel
All right.
Adesanya.
SANY.
YAA. Yeah.
YA.
Because it belongs there.
Yeah, I'm on MGM. I'm on the MGM app, the Arizona MGM app. I'm not getting nothing. I'll pull something up from the internet, maybe off of OddsShark or something else. We'll get to that later.
All right, man.
All right. Well,
Get back to us.
Otherwise, too,
Get
in
back.
MMA, they got that next weekend. The one Fight Night 24 will be happening. I had mentioned it earlier. Your headliner is Jared Brooks, the former champion. He lost the belt on that head spike when he knocked out Pacquiao in the first round, but the KO was overturned because it was on a head spike, and that made Pacquiao the champion. So they're having an interim championship belt until Pacquiao is good enough to fight again. So Jared, the Monkey God Brooks, will be fighting the number 3 ranked
The
contender.
Monkey God?
Yeah, that's his nickname. He comes out to the ring with a monkey mask on too when he fights. he wears like a Planet of the Apes monkey mask he'll wear on his face when he's coming out to the ring. So Brooks out of the U.S. He'll be fighting a number 3 ranked contender, Gustavo El Gladiator Pilart. He's a wrestler out of Cuba. I believe he's competed in the Olympics before. So that'll be for the interim title. And then there's another title fight on the card. You got women's submission grappling at atomweight. You got Danielle Kelly out of the United States fighting Mayasa Bastos out of Brazil. And then you got a full card of Muay Thai and MMA. You got a flyweight kickboxing match in here too. So there'll be a little bit of something for everybody. I know the other night when our boy JJ was fighting, me and Chris Benoit were sending texts back and forth. He said he never actually watched a submission grappling match before, so that was interesting. JJ almost had Aljo too. He fought Aljamain Sterling, the UFC champion, just in submission grappling. It wouldn't have been. The UFC wouldn't have allowed the fight to happen in anything other than submission grappling because the risk for injury would have been too great. It looked like JJ was controlling the flow of the fight, and they went into sudden death. And then they got these point rules in the sudden death that if you score 2 points in a row for takedown, passing the guard, basically advanced, and with about 10 seconds left, JJ had the 1 point lead on Aljo, and he tried to do some kind of roll, and Aljo caught him and scored 2 points in about 3 seconds to beat JJ with, I think it was like 5 seconds left on the clock. So it was
all right. So if
disappointing.
from what you watched, and you know about Armari Kid and everything, if this fight was for real and there were strikes involved, It's hard to say, but Aljo, right? He's known for his submission grappling, right? And the Mari kid, he's a striker. He's a striker.
Yeah.
He's got some.
Well,
good
he's big on that submission grappling too, though.
No, he's got some jits.
He's got that.
Some jits.
Yeah, he's got that Gamblers Jiu-Jitsu Academy. I think. He's down in Florida now.
He's got some jits. He's got some good jits, but oftentimes, I've seen in his fights, he's often fighting off the bottom. That doesn't score well with the judges. He likes to stay on his feet. He likes to bang a lot. Who wins this fight? And here Aljo is, a UFC champ. What do you think? Who wins that fight? And if they fought for real? See, this is why it's not a good idea for them to do cross promotions like that. They do a cross promotion like that, and somebody that most MMA fans have never heard of. We know who he is. He's been on our show. I met the guy a few times.
Yeah. Well, it was a submission grappling fight, not an MMA fight. So
understood.
I don't know how much talk it would have got, even with if.
No. You're missing the point here. You're missing the point. I don't think you heard a word that I said, T. But that's okay. All right. If the UFC were to set up a cross promotion, because that's what we were talking about. PFL earlier, we were talking about the UFC and PFL setting up a cross promotion where they have fights, right? Real fights, right?
Okay.
I'm saying if they had a real fight, the UFC did a cross promotion, the Mari kid would have more than he'd have a chance.
Oh, so you're saying,
having
JJ beat him,
right, would be a debacle for the UFC, right? Would it not be a debacle for the UFC? That's why. That's a good reason for them alone. Besides the fact that Dana White's worried about getting burned, they could probably burn them in other ways.
And the thing with this fight between JJ and Aljamain it wasn't anywhere near Aljamain's normal weight class. Now they both did weigh in the same, but this was in the they weighed in the 170s, and usually Aljamain fights down in like the 140s.
Yeah, so does the Mari kid though. This is probably the weight they're walking around at all the time.
Yeah, they were basically fighting at walking around weight for this. It was a fun fight to watch. It's hard to say because with Aljamain's more, he's got that wrestling background, so he likes being on top, and JJ with more of the jiu-jitsu background, he was pretty comfortable fighting off of his back, and he actually had a few times where he was going for arm bars, ended up down in guard. And he was putting himself in guard on purpose because he was working a lot more submissions off the bottom than Aljamain was trying to secure from the top. So I think the strategy would have been completely different if it was an MMA fight, because then he wouldn't have wanted to give up his back so easily. But he was working a lot off of his back, and he had a lot. Yeah, he had a lot more legit submission attempts than Aljamain did. It's just the way that Karate Combat does it. They do 7 minutes, and then it goes into a 3-minute sudden death. If this would have been like how one does their submission grappling matches, it's this 1 10-minute period, and JJ was more aggressive and had more legit attempts. So I think he would have won if it would have been by the one rules compared to the Karate Combat rules.
Yeah, I could see that. The rules are so much different when you go
from promotion to promotion,
and then really sport to sport, because if you're talking jits, man, it really counts against you in MMA being on the bottom, and in jiu-jitsu it really doesn't. If you're active and going for submissions, you're not going to get dinged anything for being on the bottom.
Now
if you're on the bottom and the other guy's in control, it's the referees in MMA are really going to ding you up, and not so much in jits, especially if you're active going for submissions. Not so much.
You guys see coming into the UFC for fights that are ruled down and elbows. New rules coming. I did not see. I don't know if it's going to be going more like the international rules.
12 to 6 elbows allowed in UFC now.
Okay, yeah, and I know are you allowed to knee a downed opponent now too?
Yeah, in certain
I know in
positions,
one
believe.
you are.
No, certain positions now you are.
Okay, yeah, because in one you're allowed to knee a downed opponent.
Yeah, that north,
So
that north south.
I didn't know if the
Yeah.
UFC was going to start doing that too. Or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. But here again, I don't know. You know, I'm on the fence. Honestly, I'm on the fence about allowing everything. Well, almost everything, right? You can't have people getting eye gouged and people getting, lacerations,
Well,
getting poked.
then you're going back to the original. The original UFC. It used to just be no eye gouge, no.
Well, here's the thing.
drops.
Here's the thing. You gotta listen to me. Here's the thing. I mean, I understand the medical, the problem with allowing like soccer kicks to the head. I understand that. I understand that you could have people die in the ring and things of that nature, and it's bad news. Pride allowed it for years and years. The soccer kicks to the head to down opponents. Now, the thing that these people put themselves in incredibly precarious positions, which you would not be allowed to do in a real fight. And the whole thing's supposed to be simulating a real fight in the first place. Like, you're not going to you're not going to be out there on the street doing a butt scoop position, trying to get a guy, that's not going to happen. Somebody's going to jump on your freaking head. And that's what would happen in the Pride when people would do that butt scoop. They'd have Vanderlei Silva jumping on their freaking head, kicking him in the head with a soccer kick, flying through the air, freaking trying to land a kick to the head, or wherever they could kick them, land it, So it keeps you in check. It keeps you from doing stupid shit, So that's. But then again, a guy gets rocked a little bit, and then he lands on the ground, and then it's not over until the ref freaking separates you two, and then you get soccer kicked in the head, and then death. You could have. I mean, it's very dangerous. Soccer kicks to the head are very dangerous. Put you in a freaking wheelchair.
Oh yeah.
What's the difference between a kick to the head when you're standing up to a kick to the head when you're on your back?
You can defend yourself. When you're standing up, you can defend yourself. You can see it coming.
Your hands up. If you're down, you got your knees on the ground, and
you're on Queer
bracing
Street.
yourself with your hands. It's harder to get a hand up if you're using your hands to support your weight at the same time. So
Gotcha.
Soccer kick to the head is basically going to be an unguarded. Plus, I think just gravity and lifting a kick up, you're gonna get a lot more power on something a bit lower. That's why I like when you watch Muay Thai, like you'll see guys just buckle from leg kicks. You'll get KOs off of leg kicks, and I think those kicks that are hitting them in the shins are a lot more powerful than the ones to the head.
Somebody was in one of the fights last night that just he took a hit, and that was all she wrote. He was on the ground. Now he got back up, but he definitely had seen some stars for a while. But I was too busy trying to get the fights on my phone and transfer it to the television. I finally gave up on that and just watched on my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what fight you're talking about, Pops. I wasn't able to watch the entire card in its entirety. I was at work. Yeah, man.
All right, Pop.
But I was able to catch the fights I wanted to see. So we'll praise Jesus on the Sabbath on the Sports Church for that. You don't always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes you can get what you need. The Rolling Stones, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
No more Yankee, my wanky. The donga need food.
Oh.
All right, Pops. What do you got?
Well, I guess that we can talk about the Belgian Grand Prix. Something was really, really different in the Grand Prix, and that the Mercedes guys went 1-2, and then they went to 1 with the other car being disqualified. So leave it to Toto Wolff to end up having a car that doesn't weigh enough. After George Russell dominated the field, they did a weight check on the car, and it was 1.5 kilograms too light. And so they don't say they don't say anything about, well, we can do this or that. They simply said, you're disqualified. You did not participate in this race. So that was
1.5 kilograms. That's like what, like 4 pounds ish?
3.5, 3 1/3 pounds, something like that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I mean, that's something though, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
2.4
It's something
pounds
at
a kilo.
every level. It's something at every level of racing too. I know the Slinger Nationals happened a couple weeks ago, and the guy that actually won the race got DQ'd.
Yeah.
After the race on inspections. So I forget the guy's name.
Slinger Speedway.
Yeah, the Slinger Nationals was a guy out a random lake ended up winning it because what's his name?
This will crack you up. Slinger Speedway is basically a local speedway, but the Slinger Nationals brought it to a national format.
Yeah,
and they actually televise the race now. It's quite a big deal.
You started that.
Yeah. Well, that was just so they were familiar with TV and what they can do. And now they, believe it or not, the broadcasters actually pay Slinger for the rights to broadcast it. So
that's awesome.
That part is what we were trying to get to. I paid Slinger a penny for every race that I covered.
Yeah.
Just so we had something legal in the process.
Right.
But anyway, the Dutch Grand Prix was a very, very exciting race in that the boys from Mercedes really, probably by the time it got to the 3/4 mark, they definitely were the class of the field. McLaren boys were back up in the top 5 again, both cars. So that part is taken over. Alpine just got told that Renault is not renewing any franchises with Alpine. So Alpine has to find another engine. The interesting part is if they can't find another engine, I wonder if they're going to let Andretti join.
Maybe. Doubtful, but maybe.
I mean, if they can't get a deal on an engine, they should pretty much put Andretti in without having to pay a fee, which is awesome. So, but they it's way too political. So, Andretti tried to buy Alpine, and they didn't even want to talk to him. So, we'll wait and see what happens there. In NASCAR land, there's been quite a few changes with crew chiefs and drivers being dropped from lineups. I guess we're going to have to get a presentation slide of who's where after this weekend, because a lot of changes came down over this weekend with who's out as a driver, who's out as a crew chief, who's got what sponsor left. All that is going on. IndyCar they featured an article. This is how crazy IndyCar is. They featured an article about Ed Carpenter's daughter, whose trainer, she is a pole vaulter. She's in maybe 8th, 9th grade. Her trainer is also the trainer of the #1 pole vaulter. And that's all goes back to, let's talk about the Olympics. And that I don't understand how this always happens, but it does. The racers take 2 weeks off, and the media still has to interview them, and so it always comes back to it always comes back to the Olympics during that 2-week period. So interesting to say. And that's about all I got, John, because nobody's doing anything, with the exception of disqualifying people. I guess that's the best way to say it.
There you go. All right. Well, we'll talk a little bit of baseball. We're past the halfway point. We've gone past the All-Star break. Quick trade announcement. This one is kind of thrown me for a loop a little bit, but Chris Benoit sent it to me. And so the Cubs acquired infielder Isaac Paredes from the Rays for Christopher Morel and two prospects, Hunter Bidge and Ty Johnson. Paredes has been a popular figure in trade rumors for recent days, and this is a weird thing. This is where I don't get it. He's been mentioned for the Dodgers, the Astros, the Rangers, and the Mariners. And he's an all-star too. So, and the Cubs make a move for him. Weird, and they trade Christopher Morel. Doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense, except for he's a hell of a lot more better at defense than Christopher Morel is. I don't know why the Cubs are making the moves they had. They traded for a reliever earlier in the week, and they got a 50 and 56 record, so it's kind of like I guess they're setting up for next year.
Well, that was weird.
Yeah, they're setting up for next year. Other rumors are Justin Steele is on the market. James Thailand is on the market as well, which doesn't make any. When you're short on pitching and you trade your pitching, it doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. But we'll see. Other trade rumors. Blake Snell had a freaking amazing game the other night. Set a record for strikeouts, if I'm correct. Randy Arozarena went to the Mariners. Jazz Chisholm Jr. already went to the Yankees. Dodgers are active. The Phillies are active for sure. The Baltimore Orioles are active for sure. Unfortunately, for me, again, it goes back to the Cubs. But the Yankees and the Dodgers are going hardcore to paint for Nico Horner, which is the second baseman / shortstop for the Cubs. I love this guy. Super fast, Gold Glove winner, good bat. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. The Mets are, like I mentioned earlier, the Mets are looking to upgrade.
Well, you told me earlier that the Cubs going to
You're breaking up.
wholesale their club out, did you? And just get rid of everybody that they can and look to the future.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I can't figure it out. Jed Hoyer is Theo Epstein. If you order him from Wish.com, I don't think he's a very good GM. He's had almost 6 years now and hasn't done shit with it. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, the Cubs do have a very, very deep farm system, but why are you going to move guys like Nico Horner? Why are you going to move guys like James and Tyan? Why are you going to move guys like Justin Steele when there's no reason to do so? Build for the future. What future? What future?
We're having troubles with our connections.
Are we? Nah, well, we'll see. Anyways, moving on. Let's see what else we got.
The Pookster's there. All right, welcome back. Got a good backdrop. Yay!
There we go.
My tabernacle.
There you go. Other rumors. Angels are listening to offers for Louis Renfroe and Taylor Ward. We'll see what happens. That Padres get picked up Jason Adam from the Rays. Rays are moving big time. That's not a big surprise. They trade. They were probably year in year out the most active franchise that trades. I mean, they just consistently turn over their roster. Yankees and the Padres are checking in on Blake Snell. Last year's Cy Young Award winner had a rough free agency. Nobody kind of wanted to touch him, and he finally ended up with the Giants. Had a really, really rough start to the year. I mean, he's still sitting at a 5.83 ERA, which is not good. But, I mean, that was the beginning of the year. I think he was hurt and didn't say shit. Pitchers do that. And then he got a groin injury, and that set him back. And trust me, like I can't think of a worse injury for a baseball player other than a groin injury. I mean, you can't do shit. You literally can't do anything. Since he's come back, he's got a 0.75 ERA. In the last 4 starts, 24 innings, he's been fucking awesome. So the Giants, they're not really in contention. So if they can get something for him, and they've got him under control for a couple of years, might as well trade him and get something for him. So we'll see. I don't know. Let's see. The Brewers are looking to make a move, which is surprising, but they're looking for White Sox righty Eric Fedde, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that.
I wonder if they're actually going to make a move now that Yelich is going to be out for the rest of the season.
They got to make a move, right? Or they either have to, or they. Well, you got to.
Well, the way Antanasio runs this team is always to get another bite at the apple, but they never fully commit to trying to go to win a championship. And now with Yelich being down, I don't know how aggressive they're going to be about going, this is the year that we actually finally make a run at it.
Right.
They never make any big splashes in free agency because it's a small market team, so you don't have the same amount of money to throw at stuff that a Chicago or a New York does. And once they do go for it, it's going to be a situation like when Kansas City won the World Series, where you have the great year, but now you're going to go back into rebuilding after that because you're not going to be able to afford to bring everybody back after that.
Right.
And how much of their farm system are they going to be willing to give up to make that run? And they never seem to want to finally pull the trigger and be like, all right, we're going to blow up this to go make the run now. So I don't know how serious they are.
I don't know. You're right. The way the Brewers have been run historically over the last, let's say, like 10 years or so, is how you put them out is pretty accurate. I don't know.
They always like to be contenders, but they're never the team.
That's part of the problem, man, is with the expanded playoff format, is that there's still probably, I gotta look, should pull up the standings because that's my shit. There's so many teams in contention because of the expanded playoff system. So, teams are hesitant to make a move. Like, what I'm saying, we can do just this much and get into the playoffs, and then anything can happen after that, right? And you can get in a hot streak and go. Like, look at last year's World Series, which was the worst thing that ever happened to Major League Baseball last year. It was the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. 2 franchises nobody gives a fuck about. And they're in the World Series. And MLB just got to be like, oh, fuck. Really? They want Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, Cubs, fucking whatever. But they want the marquee blue chip franchises in there. And they didn't get it. And that's what's happening with the expanded playoffs, is because you can get a team that just sneaks in the 6th spot. It gets hot and rolls everybody, gets in the World Series and loses. I mean, that's what MLB has done. Oh, it's more exciting. No, it's not. Because now everybody's just sitting on their ass thinking, do we really need to add? We're just about, we've got that 4th or 5th playoff spot, maybe even 6th if we hit a bad streak. So why should we add? Why should we give up prospects for the future just to win this year when we're almost there anyways? It's like, fuck. So, the only teams that are moving hard, except for the Cubs, apparently, because that's weird, but are the very, very, very front runners, like the Baltimore Orioles, the New York Yankees, the Guardians, the Houston Astros, who came out of fucking nowhere, by the way, are once again tied by the Seattle Mariners, who just traded for Randy Rosarina. I love Randy. Clutch guy, big bat. Hopefully he helps supercharge that lineup that is absolutely atrocious I mean, the Seattle Mariners don't scare anybody. I mean, I wouldn't be scared to throw at them. The Phillies, of course, are in there. The Braves, oh man, feel so bad for the Braves losing Spencer Strider, then losing Ozzie Albies. I mean, fuck. What are you gonna do, Braves fans? I don't know. Not much. I mean, you're still fucking 8 games over 500. You're gonna be in the playoffs, and they also lost Max Fried, their stud left-hander, to I think neuritis is what they're calling it, which sounds to me like code for Tommy John. I don't know. But I did look it up, and the guys who have been diagnosed with that have missed a minimum of like 2 months, so that's not good for Braves fans. They had Central. We talked about the Brewers, a commanding lead, 5.5 games over the Cardinals, fucking unbelievable. The Cubs and the Reds, woo, battle for last place,
and they're really working at it.
Oh, they are. They're doing their damnedest. The Reds is funny. The Reds have a plus 35 run differential in last place. The Cardinals have a minus 48 run differential, and they're in second place. So figure that shit out. To the West, the Dodgers, the Padres are keeping pace with the Dodgers. Like I said earlier, a couple weeks ago, they're the scariest team that nobody's talking about. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're matching the Dodgers. They're only 6.5 games out. They're firmly in the playoffs. They've got that number 3 seed locked the fuck up for sure, or number 4 seed, excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh,
what you meant, first wild card.
Yeah, first wild card. Yeah. And the Diamondbacks, last year went to the World Series, lost of course to the Texas Rangers. They're hanging in there somehow. They're fighting. They're 7-3 in their last 10. NL West is actually kind of getting a little interesting, which is cool. I like that. It's good. But there was one more trade rumor I want to talk about. I can't seem to fucking find it. It's all right. To wrap up baseball, keep in touch. The deadline is only 2 days away. A lot of moves are probably going to be made before then. Chris Benoit put in Brave starter today. Lopez left game with forearm tightness. That's not that big of a deal. Jays just swept the Rangers this weekend, and my Jays are ass. Well, yeah, there you go. Another news, little NFL news. The Packers just signed a deal with Jordan Love, right? Extended him for 4 years.
Yeah.
If I remember.
What was it? $55 million a year.
Whoa!
It's pretty similar. It's the year-by-year comparison. It's the richest contract in the NFL right now, right along with Trevor Lawrence. He basically got the same kind of deal that Trevor Lawrence got with Jacksonville, which when we were talking about that deal going down a few weeks ago, I was like, well, now that's going to reset the market and that's going to delay the Jordan Love deal because we were talking about it back then even. Tua also re-signed for, what was it?
Yeah.
52.3 million a year or something like that. It was.
I wonder if Brett Favre is going to make another comeback.
No.
No. Maybe he'll start asking for some more money from Copperfit, though. We'll see.
There you go. There you go. Also, we got fantasy football coming up. We're gonna have to relaunch that league for obvious reasons. So we've got 4 right here.
Hey, Booth,
we need to find
the name of the league.
4. What? I'm not talking.
Name of the what?
The league. Name of the league. We had the Brittany Griner.
Griner, yeah.
Yeah,
If we had disparage again, let's spell the name right.
All right. Well, we got 5 now because Chris Benoit's in there.
All right.
All right. We need 3 more at least. But I will set that up this week for us. Because fantasy football is the only reason to pay attention to the NFL.
Just call it the name of the network, the Bears Gangbang Party.
There we go. All right.
Gangbang.
Bears Gangbang. Nice. All right. Tua, Chris Wallace put in Tua 40 years, $212.4 million to throw a fucking football. That's fucking gangster.
Yeah,
I
and the thing
hope the
with Tua
CTE is worth it, bro.
Yes, the thing with Tua is
Stays
he's
healthy.
more injury prone. Yeah, he
Yes, he
doesn't
is.
stay healthy as much. That's the
Yeah.
same thing. Like eventually, Cincinnati will have to think of the same thing with Joe Burrow because that guy's starting to get more
Well,
more of a
the thing that keeps
reputation
him
for
from
being injury
asking for
prone
great
as well.
big more is that he gets injured so easily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Tua and him are very similar in that aspect. They're great when they're out on the field, but can you keep them out on the field?
Yeah.
Chris put out Ayuk requested a trade. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
no big surprise there, but thanks for pointing it out, man. Like, yeah, Brandon Ayuk of the 49ers. I mean, that is the most loaded offense, and yet they can't win a Super Bowl. It's funny. Him and who's the other guy? I know they signed McCaffrey to an extension, but who's the other wide receiver that they have? Samuel?
Samuel?
Yeah, Debo Samuel requested
Debo,
a trade as well. Like, everybody wants out there. I'm like, why? You're winning. I mean, you're not winning Super Bowls, but you're not, you're still winning. So whatever.
Because at the end of the day, it's a business, and they see their reps going down and then their value going down for future contracts.
Yeah. Got a good point there. Yeah, that's actually an excellent point. All right, so final thoughts. I will start out so I can get it out of the way. Remember, never take a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Reach out. I know it's hard, but the hardest step is to just take the first step and reach out to somebody and talk to somebody. Check on your buddies. I love when the Army says battle buddies. I kind of hate that, but it's fine. Check on your battle buddies and whatnot. I talked to another good friend of mine last night. I had Blue, aka Brittany, and her boyfriend Jason come down to Cincinnati yesterday and hang out at the house for a minute, and we went out to dinner, had a good time. It was awesome just to hang out with a fellow vet and just bullshit. It was absolutely a blast, and thank you to her and Jason for coming down and hanging out with me. And go do shit like that. Go reach out. Go look for River Warriors. They always have marches going on in every major city, and just time it up and go out and hang out with people. First up, first out, I guess. Again, Pterodactyl, final thoughts.
Well, I got one story to do before I do my final thoughts because we didn't really do an NHL segment.
Go for it. Go for it, man.
Stan Bowman is coming back to the NHL. If you don't know who Stan Bowman is, he was the general manager for the Chicago Blackhawks, won 3 Stanley Cups with them. And then as a result of the summer of 2000, or he was hired from the Blackhawks in 2009, won those cups. Then they had the sexual assault whole issue that came up, which resulted in Joel Quenneville at the time was coaching the Florida Panthers. He got fired from that job. And then Bowman, Quenneville, Al McKissick, and John McDonough had all been suspended from the league for failing to report the years-long sexual assaults by the video coach Brad Aldrich, who eventually went on to be a high school coach up in Houghton, Michigan, and I believe he sexually assaulted a high school player up there as well. So they were reinstated by the league. Their suspension ended on July 1st, and now the Edmonton Oilers, who were just a game away from winning the Stanley Cup last year, are like, we want Bowman. Yeah, it's bad publicity, but the guy gets results. So the Edmonton Oilers have hired Stan Bowman to take over as the general manager in Edmonton, as well as the vice president of hockey operations.
So let me get this straight. They just hired a no good, low life and pedophile?
Guy that was covering up for one.
Oh.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah. But yes, all those guys got fired because there was a player on the that the Blackhawks had drafted, he was playing for their AHL affiliate, the Rockford Ice Hogs, and he was exchanging sexual favors for playing time, basically, and saying if this guy wouldn't have done the stuff that he did, he was going to send him down to the third tier team, the EC.
God
the
damn.
Like Diddy moves,
affiliate
man.
is.
Diddy,
And then,
yeah.
nobody,
Diddy moves.
nobody reported it. So then after he got this Aldrich got let go from the Blackhawks, since nobody reported it, nobody was talking about it. This high school up in Michigan in the UP hired him, and then he did the same.
It sounds like they did
to
a really
kids.
good background on him.
So I guess
Yeah.
when they were in Chicago, I guess it wasn't with a kid yet, but yeah, they could have prevented it by letting police know what was going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I got no sympathy for.
Well, apparently
yeah, it's kinda-
they took the guidebook from the Catholic Church.
Ow!
I know nothing.
Yikes. All right.
But yeah, and then Chris is asking, well, are we gonna bring the bar back? Yeah, we gotta get that going again here soon. I'm gonna be it's gonna
I
be
heard
hard for me to
rumors
join here in the
that
next
was coming
couple
back in a
weeks.
week or two. That's what
Yeah,
I heard.
It's really here's the thing. It's really easy for the Pook to sit here and money more quarterback any decision that Minnie makes. I think with everything that has happened lately, it would have been he should have done some emergency episodes of
Yeah,
the
we
bar.
have
With
missed
what
we have
happened
missed quite a bit of stuff.
with
that's
what
happened.
I mean, he could have. I mean, if you said the right things, if you got some good sound bites out of it, that might have been able to give you a little bit of momentum.
we haven't done. I mean, to put it in perspective, we haven't done the bar since before the debates that killed Biden.
I really can't do the bar because I work during the time of the bar. But I mean, like I would have loved to jump on there and talked about how we have only one lone gunman and how Trump might have been hit by some shrapnel.
And now for something completely different.
There were some loud noises and he ducked. We could have talked about all that. I mean, could have talked about all that.
Well, you saw today there were people from the county sniper team that said the Secret Service didn't talk to them at all until after the assassination attempt happened. So that day the Secret Service didn't talk to the police department at all, or at least the sniper team.
Well,
all right.
I actually had heard reports. Tim Dillon's report on
Tim Dillon,
the matter.
The
his report on the matter
authority
was
on anything involving ballistic.
This is what he said. He said
Tim Dillon,
on that slope,
a fucking gay, fucking fat comedian.
Well,
All
on
right.
that slope roof, right? On that slope roof that they had, right? That the Secret Service beforehand actually had a party with a whole bunch of Cane's, the chicken place, the sauce got all over the top of the roof, and that's why it was so slippery, and the slope along with the sauce, they can't believe that the shooter was even able to get on there with that sauce. They kept sliding off. That's why they had no coverage.
It was like an old episode of American Gladiators or something.
Yeah, they couldn't. Yeah, so they couldn't get on that roof. They have no idea how the gunman even got on the roof because of all the cane.
Shut the fuck up. No one cares. Know your fucking place, trash.
Oh my God. Woohoo.
We descended into shit. Pook, if you can make the bar, I'll tell you what, man. If you can make it next Saturday night, I will relaunch the bar next Saturday night. And you can go with all your fucking Looney Tune conspiracy theories, including the one you sent me with, look at the guy on the water tower. Fucking scale alone tells you that was bullshit. Because apparently
there was a dude on the
when you're looking at something 500 yards away and it's that big, that means it's fucking huge. No, it's called a shadow, motherfucker. Like
that guy peeked out. You seen him peek out and peek back behind the water tower. There's
he
a guy
was
in the
fucking
water tower
400 feet tall.
I'm not saying he was a gunman. I'm not saying that. Did I say that? Did I say that? But okay,
no,
you're right. Hold on. I'm gonna do my
final
final thoughts right now.
Go for it.
Okay. All right. My final thoughts are: we had obviously a lone gunman. There's no conspiracy. No, that's ridiculous, right?
That we
There's
know
no
of.
conspiracy. Yeah, there's no absolutely not. This
Stop
is just a
encouraging
loner.
him.
This is just a loner. This is some lone kid. He was able, the reason they had this little Pac-Man cutout of the surveillance, it was because they didn't need to survey that area because of the slope roof and everything. I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious, No, it's amazing that guy was able to get on that slope roof, right? So I mean,
it's shocking.
Hey,
I mean, they
and
didn't
they
put this
sent a bunch
happen
of
originally.
uncoordinated congressmen up on the roof, and they all fell to death.
Yeah. Anyways, come on, Poke.
They knew about the shooter for like what 26 minutes, right? And
Yeah.
they still let Trump get on stage. It's obvious they didn't think the guy was a threat. There's no way they thought that guy was a threat, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't have let Trump on the stage, right?
Called complacency.
Complacency. I'm not saying that they did anything wrong. I'm saying this guy was good, obviously. I mean, I saw a ballistics expert that fires 100,000 rounds a year, and he fires all kinds of weapons. And he got, I don't know if I sent you that video or not, but he used a very similar AR to the one that the shooter used, supposedly, allegedly, and he was trying to make that same shot where he hit Trump in the ear, right? And he says with that type of AR-15, with that low-end AR-15, you got like a 4-inch radius. If you're on target, there's a 4-inch radius of where that bullet could go anywhere. And the first shot that he took at the ear, he was shooting at the ear, landed like right here on the ballistics gel of a head of Donald Trump. They had a mold of Donald Trump's head with the hair and everything. And freaking it landed like right here. His first shot hit him right here. He actually made the second shot hitting the ear. So it could possibly have been that Trump might have, hired the gunman to shoot him in the ear, right? I mean, we've heard reports. Yeah, that could have happened too.
Wrap it up, bro.
Right? I mean, well,
no.
I just want to say, okay.
The picture I saw of Trump after the shooting, I said something along the line, that sure looks like wrestling blood.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Trump had a little razor blade maybe when he went like this. He had to cut his ear.
Oh, God.
Right?
Hey, Pook, I got something that's going to get you in your conspiracies right now.
No,
check this out.
Don't encourage him.
I'm doing this. If you try to Google the assassination attempt of Trump, it won't fill in the predictive text now on Google. Look at this. Are you seeing the screen?
No, I don't see the screen.
Ah, damn it, I got to share it.
Yeah, that would help.
All right, here we go. All right.
What this has to do with sports, I have no idea.
No,
this is our final thoughts. We've always been able to talk freely on our
for 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Assassination attempt. You don't got nothing there with Trump. They'll type in on T. Nope. Still not RUMP blank.
There's obviously nothing going on there, right, Minnie? There's no conspiracy. Come on.
You can't even. It won't even show up.
Next Saturday.
Conspiracy Sminspiracy.
Is that Google's homepage or whose homepage is that?
That was Google.
Random
try and do it yourself.
Coincidence. This is all random events and coincidence. There's no conspiracy.
Yes, it is.
You got
for the BART on Saturday. Moving on. Can we wrap it up?
Yeah, we can move on. This is sports related. We got the Olympics in France, right?
Yeah.
And,
here we go. You know what? You guys have fun for the next 10 minutes bitching about the fucking opening.
I'm not bitching about anything. I'm on your side, Minnie. There is no
Have
conspiracy there. There's no conspiracy there. There's no satanic.
The Last Supper with drag queens.
No, there's no satanic pedophiles there. No way. This is to celebrate diversity, right, Minnie? I mean, come on. All right, well, that wraps up my final thoughts, Pops.
Uh-oh. Pops. You up?
Pops what?
Time for your final thoughts.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just thinking about where did John disappear to? But anyway.
He got sick of our conspiracy theories.
He doesn't want to hear the truth. He can't handle the truth.
Oh wow! You know, it just the assassination attempt was so poorly done that it just says
Oh,
there's
that was
got to
an
be
inside
something else
job.
going on.
That was definitely an inside job.
Have you noticed that they've never specified where the injured and the fatality sat?
Oh, it's all kinds of stuff.
I seen stuff on that, but you're right. And the mainstream news doesn't touch that stuff at all. That's not touched by the mainstream news at all.
I mean, a guy got killed. Another guy got a wound in the gut and another one in his liver, I think. And we don't know where that is. I mean, were they all sitting next to each other? You know, I don't know. It's totally weird.
The one guy that had got his head blasted off, he was in front of Trump, right? And another guys that got hit were in the bleachers behind. Trump? Yeah. And then other guys
in front of Trump at the speaker's podium.
The guy that got shot in the head. I'm talking about the fireman.
Corey Compatore.
Yeah. He shielded his family. He got hit in the head. I believe he was like right up there, kind of by the podium. And then everyone else was in back on the bleachers.
Anybody that was in front of,
I could be wrong.
Anybody that was in front of Trump was 10 feet below Trump. So it's kind of hard to believe that he was in the seats in front of Trump. I don't know.
I could be wrong, Pops. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I thought I'm going by something. I saw some diagram I saw.
Yeah.
You know, some of the guys were in the bleachers that got hit though behind him. I know that.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously this is all a coincidence, Minnie. We're all in consensus that all this stuff, there's no conspiracy, there's no inside job here. Come on. Our government's on our side, bro.
Government's not on our side. However, here's the
absolutely.
problem. And I will shoot down every conspiracy theory.
You can't.
Not everyone, but most.
You can't. You can't.
Here's why
you got by ignoring the facts
are bullshit. Because when one person tells somebody else to do something, and then somebody else tells them to do something, it exponentially increases the risk of that coming out. Okay, you understand? So if I tell T that I am going to take out X person, and T tells his wife, and his wife tells everybody at work, it explodes in the.
Is that why Lee Harvey Oswald was killed?
Is that why this shooter was killed?
No, Lee Harvey Oswald.
Couldn't be.
Okay.
No, this
anyways,
shooter was
moving on.
too.
We're diving into territory I don't want to deal with right now.
Right, because you can't handle the truth, Minnie.
No, I don't. It's a sports show, not a fucking conspiracy theory.
These are our
show.
final thoughts. Our sports show's been over with.
All right, fine. It's moving on.
And then when I wanted to talk about sports, I wanted to talk about the pair. You got up and walked.
Well, then come and join the bar next Saturday when I relaunch the bar. Come, all the conspiracy theories you want, you can bring on the bar next Saturday after we play Cards Against Humanity online, which we're still trying to figure out. But that's our thing next week.
At this point, it's not conspiracy theories. It's tomorrow's news today. At this point. At this point, we're not doing conspiracy theory. We're doing tomorrow's news today. And you want to talk about Lee Harvey Oswald, lone gunman, no conspiracy there, obviously, because it's too much to cover up, right? And then we got the Gulf of Tonkin incident. Oh, wait,
people are like, why do you drink on Sport Church? Well, this is fucking why.
Minnie, we're ready for your final thoughts. I have my final thoughts all wrapped up a long time ago.
All right, man. Anybody else got anything to say? Not conspiracy.
I don't know if there's anything else we can say to follow that.
Yeah, no shit, right? Like, holy crap.
You've been completely propagandized by the CIA. You got conspiracy as if it's some kind of bad word. When any two people conspire to commit a crime in secret, it's a conspiracy. Conspiracy to commit murder, you can get charged with it in a court of law. You got it's some kind of bad word.
RICO statutes.
No, but it's real.
You know, those guys that we used to meet at the bar in Michigan City, those union reps. Yeah, RICO. Yeah.
Conspiracies are real.
I know. All right. Next, Pook, you got to make it. You got to make it next Saturday. All right. I'm going to give you the fucking forum to go.
I got
shit crazy.
I have to work. Night. What's the 10th? The 10th. I'm going to be in San Diego. I can try to make it. I'll be in San Diego, not in Mexico. I'll try to make it maybe the 10th. is a Saturday.
Okay. All right.
I don't
All
know
right.
about next week. Next week I got to work.
The 10th
That's
would be the
fine.
last time I can do it before we go to the Philippines too. So
Yeah. I'm desperately searching for another co-host because I know I'm going to lose T for a minute, and it's right now
For
it's
3
just kind of me
weeks.
and Blue. Yeah, me and Blue. So I'm going to lose T for 3 weeks. So we'll figure it out. Anyways, thank you all. Thank you, Pook, so much. I love you, brother. Pops, as always, love you. Pterodactyl, you're a gangster. I love you for hanging out and paying attention to the shit that sometimes I don't have time to pay attention to. Without further ado, I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Please share the show out. Remember, we're live on Rumble. We're live on YouTube. We're no longer live on X because you need a premium account to live stream there. And I don't like Elon Musk that much to pay for it. I'm already paying enough
Yeah,
for
what do
this
they
shit.
charge for that? You know?
I don't know, and I don't want to fucking find out.
$8 a month, which
Fucking yeah. So
I'm
be up
considering
to-
getting rid of my Netflix. So if I do that, then maybe I'll spring for that.
All right, well maybe we'll figure
Well,
out that way.
Netflix is up to $20-some odd a month, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting up there.
Yeah, it keeps getting more expensive. So they don't
Gee,
have.
I wonder
they
if
don't
they
have
got
internet
the
in the
model. They probably got the model from the cable networks of how you control pricing.
Yeah, probably. All right. Without further ado, I love you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember, share us out again live on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and hopefully maybe soon again back on X. Here we go.
I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.